Hi guys, welcome to the Shampoo Bottle 1 video. We're going to complete this shampoo bottle here. It's fairly handy to do, but it just introduces a very important feature called lofted boss base, or a loft as we call it for short. Okay, so we'll just start a new SolidWorks model here. What we're aiming to do is we're trying to get this drawn out here, and this is basically the skeleton of this loft here. So what a loft is, it basically takes a profile, in this case the bottom sketch, and it transitions it to create a solid transitions into this circle. So you have basically a rectangle transitioning into a circle, and it creates a solid body along the way. Now if we just had them two profiles, we wouldn't get this desired shape here, so what we add in is guide curves to kind of influence it. As this rectangle kind of travels up towards the circle, it's passing through, it's been stretched out through these two wide guide curves here at the left and the right, and these kind of narrow ones at the front and the back. Okay, so what we're doing is we're doing this sketch here on the top plane. So top, normal to center rectangle, we're going 50 wide by 40 high, and we're going to add in radius 5 fillet sketch fillets on the corners. Okay, and I'm going to rename that. I'm going to go to isometric view there. I'm going to rename that base profile. Now what I need is a plane parallel to that I can draw the upper profile that the loft is going to work from. So we're going to use the top plane as a reference that one was drawn on to create this new one. So the first thing I'll do is select the top plane, go to features. So the top plane is like our reference geometry plane. We're going to type in 160, which I already have there as it happened coincidentally. Green tick. Now that plane, new plane is selected. I'm going to call that upper plane, and I'm going to look normal to it because it's already selected, and I'm going to go circle from the origin, and we're going to go with a diameter 40 circle. Okay, I'm going to hide that plane now. Okay, so now we need to add in the guide curve. So we're going to the front plane. I'm just going to purposely make that bigger, look normal to it, and what we're going to draw is basically, if I can get down here, two arcs. One is a 3-point arc, this is a center point arc, and they're tangential to each other. They meet at a point of contact, and they have that those radii. Just to kind of let you know what you need to do when you're doing a loft. When you have a bottom profile and a top profile and a guide curve between them, you need to use what's called a pierce relation with both ends. So basically what it means is that the guide curve has to be attached to both profiles, the upper profile and the lower profile. We have to attach them onto it. If the guide curve is loose from them, it's not going to work. Okay, so this is what we're after here, and then we'll mirror it over the other side, so we'll have two of them. So we'll start off with a center line up the middle, like so. Then we'll go with a 3-point arc. 3-point arc, and I'm going to purposely not attach it on there. I'm just going to draw it here, first point, second point somewhere up here, and we're going to make it curve outwards to the right like that. Now what I'm going to do is pierce that onto this bottom profile. So I'm going to rotate my model a little bit so I can see it better. How do we get a pierce relation? Well, we hold the end point of the curve. So I select it, hold control on the keyboard, and go and select anywhere along this line here except for the midpoint. Well, it doesn't actually matter. And pierce. Now what it's done there is, on the front plane which you're drawing on, it's after attaching itself onto that grey sketch at the bottom, at where the plane is. Okay, now I'm just going to drag this down a little bit. I'm going to drag a center line across the top here, because the other arc we're using is a center point arc, and we need something to put the center point on. So I'll just land it here, center point roughly there. Don't do it so that it crosses over the other arc, just like so. And we want to get a bit of an arc. Now what I need to do is make them, I'm just going to change that to 50 there while I'm at it. Yeah, I'm going to make that slightly smaller. What I need to do now is add a tangential relation between these two arcs. So I select the first arc, hold control, select the second arc, and go to tangent. Looks like they're not touching there, but if I actually extend that upwards, you can see that they are touching. So what I need to do now is I need to trim off this little portion down here to the right and this to the left. So I'll go to trim entities, trim off that bit, and trim off that bit there. Okay, and lastly, I'll put the smart dimension on this one here, 110, And the last thing I'll do is I'm going to pierce the top of the guide curve onto the top profile. So once again, I select the end of the guide curve, the point, hold control and select anywhere on the circle and go pierce. And you can see that it's after going fully black. Okay, last thing I'll do is just mirror them two curves over the center line. So mirror entities, select the two curves, mirror it about that, like so. And what it's after doing is taking the pierce and tangent relations over to the far side. So I'm going to call that side guide curves, or side guides. And this one here was the circle, so we're going to call it upper profile because it was done on the upper plane. Grand. Now I need to do my two side guide curves, and they're going to be done on the right plane. So select the right plane, like so. Look normal 2. And what that looks like, the side guide curves looks like that. It's a straight line pierced to the top profile and a 3-point curve pierced to the bottom profile. It's fairly straightforward. So I'll just purposely not draw a line attached to that. Just do it vertical like so. Hold that there, select that point there, hold control, select that circle and go to pierce. And I'm going to make that 30 millimeters long. Then I'm going to go with a 3-point arc. I'm going to hit it here. I'm purposely not going to attach it there, I'll miss it. And then I'm going to make a curve inwards and I'm going to pierce that point there. Select the point, hold control, select anywhere on that line and go to pierce. Oh, sugar. Now we need to do this kind of 3 millimeter gap here from the line to the furthest point there of the arc. So select that point and I'm going to try to pick up like a midpoint here. And what we need to do is make sure it turns into a horizontal, not a diagonal or a vertical. So there's a diagonal, there's a vertical, we need the horizontal. Just type in 3. Grand. Now what I'll do is mirror the entities. That one, oh no, I need a center line up the middle as well. Like so. Mirror entities, line, arc, mirror it about, center line, and done. Now I have everything. I'm ready for the loft. Okay, I have my two profiles and I have the guide curves. So we go to features. So I'm just going to rename that actually front back guides. So features, lofted boss base, and you get two boxes, profiles. So the profiles is basically the bottom of the top. Okay, now it'll give us a preview. So obviously that's not the shape that I want. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to add in our guide curves to influence it more, to get it shaped like the bottle. So I select the left guide curve. Now it gives us an option here. Is it a closed loop or is it an open loop curve? And it's an open loop curve. So we select open loop curve. Now that's definitely not the shape what we want, but we can see how a guide curve can influence a loft. Select the other one. Grand. Okay, now we want to select the front one and the back one. Okay, and you can see what that guide curve does. If I just unselect it there, if I delete open loop 4, okay, you see the way kind of the guide curve brings it in, like so. And that's it, green tick. Now, next thing we do is we're gonna hollow it out. So we'll go to shell, and I'm gonna go with a 2 millimeter thickness, and we're gonna shell it from the top down. Green tick, and now you can see into it like so. Okay, so that's I'm just going to call this body loft, and I'm just going to call this bottle shell. Now we're going to put some fillets on it. I'm going to put a 3 millimeter fillet on the bottom, so type 3, select the bottom, all this, that'll pick up the 4 corners and the fillets, 4 sides and the fillets. 3, green tick. And I'm going to put a 1.5 millimeter fillet here on that rim. So 1.5. Grand. So I'll just call that rim fillet. This one here I'll call bottom fillet. Okay, and now we're ready to do the lid. So the lid, pages and pages of stuff here. That's what we're after here. Center point, 3-point arc, but the center point is not on this center line here. Okay, so we're going to go to the front plane, and basically this is going to be a revolve boss base. Front plane, normal 2, sketch. Now not a center line up the middle, but a heavy line. Looking for the midpoint there. Just go vertical, and then we want somewhere in from the end. I'll just go to here, make it smaller. I want to make this one here 20, it's close. This one here 30. We want to put an 18, but we need a line at the bottom because it has to be a fully closed loop to do the revolve boss base. Make that 18. Okay, and lastly I want to go with a 3-point arc. First point, second point, center point, like so, and its radius 18. And it's fully defined, and I'm happy with that. End your sketch, and we're going to do a revolve boss base. Okay, so I need to delete that there. I probably should have selected the center line first. There we are. Merge result. Yes, I'll merge result. And there we go. So now the last thing to do is basically put just put materials on it. So we're going to put a low gloss white plastic, so low gloss on the body, and I want to make sure that the body loft is selected. That's the feature over here at the side, body loft. We just want it on that, and we're going to go with a green high gloss plastic on the top, which is called, you can see it there, revolve 1. So drag it onto it and select revolve 1, and we'll just call that lid revolve, like so. And that's the question done. Okay, there's nothing else to be done there. Okay, you could do a photorealistic image or what have you, but we'll leave it there for that. So we'll keep it short as possible.